Chapter 161 Was it eaten? Then when will I be able to go out? Shajur wailed in his heart. There has never been a day when he was so powerless. Not to mention, Boa Hancock's message blocking work is pretty good. Originally, according to Shajur conjecture. Since Boa Sandersonia went out to inquire about his identity, then, no matter how powerful her concealment skills were, it was impossible to leave no trace behind. As long as there are clues left, then Anna and the others will always notice it. In this way, you can follow the vines to find Nine Snake Island and release him from the sculpture. But Shajur waited like this for a month, and the flowers were all gone, but they still hadn't waited for Anna and the others. It can be said that there is no news at all. Hey, they won't forget me. Shajur thought anxiously in her heart. So, is Shajur really forgotten? Of course not. Anna's search for Shajur didn't stop for a day. However, how difficult it is to find a Shajur who has been imprisoned in disguise like a needle in a haystack. After all, living in the windless Nine Snake Island is a bit unreal. Could it be that Lord Shajur was eaten by the Sea Kings? After searching for a month, Anna and the others almost turned over the first half of the Great Route, but there is still no news. Involuntarily, they had this idea in their hearts. Moreover, the more you think about it, the more you think it is a fact. After all, it is normal for a corpse in the sea, or a person with little resistance, to be eaten by a Sea King. No, it's impossible. How could Master Shajur be eaten by the Sea Kings, and he died so embarrassed? Anna absolutely can't believe this is true. Then, they continued to persevere in the search. But they keep looking for someone so much, no matter how secretive they are, they will still find something wrong. Thunder Hunter hasn't appeared yet, and his subordinates are looking for something everywhere. Is it hard? There are many people who suddenly have a bold idea in their heads. Shajur is missing. Gia, is this the case? Try it and you'll know. There are daring pirates, and immediately start to test. They started harassing the Summer Chamber of Commerce. At the beginning, it was just harassment. Run after the harassment, and see how Anna and the others reacted. However, when Anna and the others responded, they were only warnings and not held accountable. Moreover, when Shajur didn't show up at all, the courage of these pirates began to grow. It seems that the Summer Chamber of Commerce has no energy to pursue them. This is not normal. Shajur is a big pirate with a bounty of nearly 800 million. Will he tolerate his forces being provocated? Impossible. If someone provokes him, he will definitely come forward in person. But now he has not appeared. What does this mean? It means that he is really missing. With this conjecture, these pirates in the sea suddenly went crazy. The Summer Chamber of Commerce is a big piece of fat. How can you be worthy of yourself if you don't take advantage of such a good opportunity to take a bite? As a result, in order to deal with the pirates who are constantly attacking, Anna and the others are even more embarrassed, and there are fewer opportunities to find Shajur. Start a pair of writing wheels. Pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 162 Hancock, wait for me. Nine Snake Island. The body seems to be slowly recovering. What's going on? It seems like a force is coming out of the body every day. In the sculpture, Shajur didn't know if this was his own delusion. He felt that the current self was much weaker and more energetic than the 1 month ago. Become more spiritual and more powerful. Is it an illusion? Let me try it. With this discovery, he decided to check again in a few days to see if it was his illusion. 10 days later. It's really recovering. This is not my illusion. My body is really starting to recover. Shajur is extremely happy. The current self, he feels much stronger than the previous self. Very good, Boa Hancock. You wait for me. When I recover, Xiao Yi must make you look good. Shajur said with hatred. Time is passing by slowly. In a blink of an eye, half a year has passed. In the past 6 months, the Whitebeard pirates fought against the beasts for some unknown reason. Marine was also inexplicably attacked by the Whitebeard pirates, and even Doflamingo was inexplicably involved. To be honest, Doflamingo felt very confused. He didn't seem to offend Whitebeard. Why was he suddenly attacked by Whitebeard? It can be said that it is a dumb person who eats Coptis chinensis, and it is hard to tell. People sit at home, and the pot comes from the sky. However, Doflamingo also has a guess in his heart. Although he didn't know if it was right or not, he felt that this matter might have something to do with the name of the Thunder Hunter Natsu. Maybe it's just as I imagined. There is some connection between Thunder Hunter and Whitebeard. Or, Thunder Hunter has another identity. Doflamingo was tied into a bandage again, but he still said evilly. In the past 6 months, except for the encounter between Whitebeard and Kaido. Among the other things, only the closing of the Summer Chamber of Commerce is the only thing that attracts people's attention. It's a pity, a generation of geniuses is jealous. However, isn't it a great honor to die at the most glorious moment? Every time the Sha Chamber of Commerce was closed, someone would think of Sha Jurqing's untimely death. In the past 6 months, after losing the core of Sha Jurqing, the Sha Chamber of Commerce was unhappy, coupled with the coveted by all the enemies on the sea. Then, it slowly closed down like this. Only the core staff of Anna, who fled to Sky Island, went into seclusion. They are still in the process of looking for Sha Jurqing, but they can't do it on a large scale like before. No way, now their manpower and financial resources have dropped to the lowest point in history. And those pirates who robbed the Summer Chamber of Commerce really made a lot of money, and they were extremely rich. Therefore, in the past 6 months, there have been many battles between the pirates in the first half of the Great Route. 9 Snake Island. On this day, Boa Hancock still went to court as usual to decide things. However, just in the middle of all this, the plaster sculpture that trapped Sha Jurqing suddenly exploded. This sudden change shocked everyone present. Boa, Sandersonia, Boa, Marie Goth even stood in front of Boa Hancock for the first time. All the 9 Snake Island warriors also entered a state of battle instantly. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 163 Pay for your actions. They all aimed at the person in the billowing smoke, and the arrows were on the strings. As long as there was any change, they could kill them with one shot. How is it possible? Is that guy still alive? The mother-in-law panicked immediately, and she also looked at the smoke and dust, and she couldn't help but panic and sweat. Thorn. A cold light swept across, Sha Jurqing lingered in thunder and lightning, and appeared in front of a group of female warriors from 9 Snake Island. Finally out. Finally see the sun again. It's not easy. Sha Jurqing stretched out, and suddenly let out a crackling sound. This guy really didn't die. How did he do it? He hasn't eaten for more than half a year, so why is he still alive? Why is my mother-in-law looking at Sha Jurqing in disbelief? Thunder Hunter, what do you want? Granny Za immediately asked. What do I want? Sha Jurqing laughed when she heard the words, but her expression was rather cold. Take my sword and trap me in a sculpture as a viewing object. What do you think I want? Sha Jurqing looked at Boa Hancock and said through gritted teeth. HMPH, despicable man, what do you want? Do you still want to do something to your concubine? Boa Hancock cast a disdainful glance at Sha Jurqing and said proudly. What if I say yes? I just want to do one thing right now, that is. Sha Jurqing suddenly showed a very wretched smile. Fuck you. Bold. Asshole. Sha Jurqing's words instantly made Boa Sandersonia and Boa Marie Gold angry. Thunder Hunter, you are never allowed to insult my elder sister. Look. The 2 women directly entered the Devil Fruit ability form and turned into a cobra, a king cobra. HMPH, both of you dare to be presumptuous in front of me, get out of here. Boa, Marie Gothic and Boa, Sandersoni are really good. According to Shajir-Ching's estimate, the force value is at least around 70. Let them deal with the rookie pirates in the first half of the Great Route may be okay. But for a strong man like him, even if he is currently upgrading the system, Susanoo can't use the kaleidoscope. Even so, with his own strength, he can easily defeat them. Lay done. Angry Thunder Tiger. With a wave of Shajir-Ching's hand, the thunder and lightning all over his body turned into a terrifying Thunder Tiger, and he went straight into the air. Thunder Hunter, you underestimate us too. The two women dodged nimbly, and the Thunder Tiger directly smashed the surrounding table and fell into the deep pit of the beast below. Huh, is that so? Shajir-Ching's voice suddenly sounded in front of the two women at the same time. The two of them couldn't help being surprised, but they saw Shajir-Ching appearing in front of them each. Chidori's spear. The two Shajir-Ching reached out and pointed, and the two thunder guns pierced through their chests and nailed them into the ground behind them at a speed that the two women had no time to react. Ah! The terrifying lightning on the thunder gun instantly deprived the two women of their ability to move, causing them to roll their eyes and fall to the ground. This is lightning with 30 million volts, and they can't resist it. How is that possible? You defeated the two snake generals so quickly. How can this outsider be so powerful, and the two face-to-face will solve the snake girl general? The surrounding 9 Snake Island female warriors couldn't help but turn pale when they saw this, and said in a horrified voice. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 164 Conqueror Hockey. That is their 9 Snake Island, apart from the Empress, the two strongest people. To be defeated by Shajir-Ching so easily. Boa Hancock, you have to pay for your behavior for the past 6 months. With thunder and lightning in Shajir-Ching's hands, the sound of thousands of birds chirping at the same time erupted, shattering the steps all the way and rushing towards Boa Hancock at the top. Ah! The female warriors on this step were directly knocked into the air by a bit of lightning, and there was absolutely no one who could stop Shajir-Ching. Stop being arrogant, outsiders, who want to hurt Lady Empress, pass me first. A smoking woman with a rocket launcher didn't finish her sentence when Shajir-Ching shouted, mental shock. A domineering force burst out, and the smoking woman fell down with a blank look. Conqueror Hockey. The mother-in-law shouted in shock. She never expected that Shajir-Ching even had a conqueror. Marrow marrow mellow. Seeing that Shajir-Ching was unstoppable, Boa Hancock stood up calmly, put his hands in a gesture of love, and let out a love-shaped light that went away. Illusion. Self-hypnosis. Shajir-Ching knew how powerful this blow was. Boa Hancock was so powerful that he was feared by most pirates because of this move. Because as long as you are tempted by the Empress, you will be petrified if you touch this trick a little bit. And now, hypnotized, his heart is like still water, so he can see him directly against Marrow Marrow Mellow, completely unaffected. Enlightenment, Empress. Shajir-Ching bullied Boa Hancock infinitely, and with one shot, he pierced away. Perfume Femur. Boa Hancock was surprised that Marrow Marrow Mellow was ineffective against Shajir-Ching, but she also responded quickly. Facing this piercing blow, she felt an extremely dangerous aura. He spun out with a fragrant kick, covered with armament hockey, activated his ability, crossed the most severe point, and stepped on Shajir-Ching's arm. Boom! Shajir-Ching only felt a powerful force burst out, and he couldn't control his arm at all. And there was a strange energy that made his arm start to petrify. Crack! He hurriedly used a substitute technique to avoid it, and the next moment, a petrified substitute wood fell to the ground. As expected of Boa Hancock, it's really troublesome. Shajir-Ching was a little surprised in Vivi's heart, but immediately, his eyes narrowed. However, so what? Thunder Escape. Chidori's sharp spear. The short-range battle can't be done, can't it be long-range? Hey! But when Shajir-Ching fired this shot, Boa Hancock had disappeared in place. Perfume Femur. She actually bullied her close. Her right foot was snow white, exuding extremely depressed fluctuations, and she swept it again. Come back. When Shajirching saw this, he immediately raised his foot to cover armament hockey. His body was covered with lightning, and he went away with a Renkyaku tempest kick. Boom! A terrifying force erupted, and the ground beneath the two of them trembled suddenly. Hem. However, Boa Hancock groaned in pain and stepped back suddenly, with thunder and lightning lingering on her body. Seeing this, Shajirching completely ignored that his right foot had been petrified, and his body was even more violent with lightning. Lightning strikes armor. He shouted. Then, under the increase of thunder and lightning, he arrived in front of Boa Hancock in an instant. Chidori. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 165 Defeat Hancock. Kiss the gun. When Shajirching stabbed this blow, Boa Hancock also shot a pink bullet, which hit Shajirching, who immediately covered armament hockey's defense, and flew out. PFF'd. Boom. Boa Hancock spattered blood on his chest, while Shajirching kept retreating at an extreme speed, with blood flowing from the corners of his mouth. Unforgivable, I actually hurt my concubine. Injured by Shajirching, Boa Hancock was angry. She shouted, slave arrow. She saw her finger lightly touch her lips, transforming into a huge pink heart-shaped energy body, and then pulling it back like a bow and arrow. A large number of pink arrows were shot out. HMPH, it's just a mere slave arrow, watch me break you. Today's Boa Hancock is far less powerful than when he met Luffy 4 years later. Thousands of birds. Boa Hancock has peach-colored petrified arrows, then he has thousands of thunderbolts. Puff puff. His 1,000 copies blocked all the arrows. Seeing this, Shajirching rushed forward again, with infinite sharpness in his eyes, and shouted, Boa Hancock, enlighten me. Om. However, Boa Hancock suddenly glared angrily, and Shajirching saw a huge wave that instantly wrapped him in. Hem. As soon as he was wrapped by this power, Shajirching felt a domineering and arrogant power, which directly entered his soul, making him have the idea of directly surrendering to Hancock. How can I surrender under your feet? You are almost at my feet. Shajirching woke up instantly, but Hancock had already taken advantage of Shajirching's stunned moment, and attacked again, and another perfume femur swept in. Whoosh! Shajirching's body flashed with a flash of lightning, and he retreated abruptly. Renkyaku tempest kick, thunder blade. He lifted his foot and slashed out dozens of sharp lightning sword waves, causing Hancock to retreat immediately. A flaw is revealed. Shajirching Isho disappeared again, and then appeared behind Boa Hancock. Be careful, Snake. When my mother-in-law saw this scene, she quickly reminded me. What? Hancock also suddenly felt the sharp fluctuations behind him. When he was about to attack, Shajirching's mouth suddenly curled into a smile. It's fine to come and not to be indecent, and also taste the impact of my spirit. Om. The same domineering fluctuations acted sharply on Hancock's soul. No. Hancock suddenly trembled, and then collapsed to the ground. This made Shajirching a little confused. Is Hancock so easily defeated? How could a mere mental shock make her collapse directly to the ground? But Shajirching didn't care so much. If he didn't seize such a good opportunity, he might not have such a good opportunity again to defeat Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock, you should pay for your actions. Shajirching reached out and grabbed her snow neck, lifted her up, and the power on her palm instantly increased several times. Stop. You are not allowed to hurt Lord Snake. Hurry up and let go of Snake G-sama. Seeing that Boa Hancock was captured, the female fighters became restless. They hurriedly spoke up, and wanted to rush over. Seeing this, Shajirching glanced at them, and the strength in his hands suddenly increased again. Come here again, her neck will be broken by me. Hearing this, they suddenly stopped and glared at me. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 166_Why Show Mercy. Have mercy, be merciful, Thunder Hunter, be merciful. At this time, the voice of the mother-in-law suddenly came, and Shajur-Ching couldn't help but look over. Be merciful, why? Give me a reason not to kill her. Shajur-Ching looked at her mother-in-law and asked, but the power in her hand was heavier. Boa Hancock's face immediately flushed red. Killing her won't do you any good. Granny Za replied very seriously. If I don't kill her, what benefits can I get? Shajur-Ching said with a smile. You can get a lot of money, and resources. It's a very good deal for you. Besides, there is no blood feud between you and Sheji. There are just some misunderstandings. After the mother-in-law paused, she continued, I apologize to you for making you into a statue. I hope you forgive her for being ignorant. If you let her go, I can give you the capital to make a comeback again. You probably don't know, your summer chamber of commerce has been divided up by those hyenas on the sea, and the girls of the mudflow have all gone into hiding now. If you kill Boa Hancock, Marine won't let you go, they won't let you break the balance of Shichibukai. Why are these words from my mother-in-law, coercive and enticing? Don't say it, as expected of the emperor, she speaks with a standard. There is such a thing, these people really dare to do it. When Shajur-Ching heard that her mother-in-law said that her summer chamber of commerce had been divided up, her tone suddenly became cold. His eyes became even more severe in an instant. With that look, Granny Za felt as if she had seen a fierce tiger that would retaliate, and she couldn't help shivering. Okay, I promise you. However, if you give me enough resources and money, you must guarantee that the Empress will not continue to trouble me. Otherwise, even if you beg for mercy next time, it won't work. If he hadn't heard his mother-in-law say that the summer chamber of commerce was gone, he probably wouldn't have agreed. Don't worry, I will persuade Hancock and promise not to let him trouble you again. When my mother-in-law heard that Shajur-Ching agreed to her suggestion, she could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Also, I will practice on an island near your Nine-Snake Island. During this period, you must provide me with all my food, understand? Also, send me my saber. Shajur-Ching's tone is completely unquestionable, and she can't refuse her mother-in-law at all. Okay, I promise you. Hearing this, my mother-in-law glanced at Boa Hancock, who was about to suffocate, and agreed without any hesitation. Remember what you just said, if there is any violation, don't blame me for being merciless. Shajur-Ching threw Boa Hancock to her mother-in-law, so she hurried away to the outside of the island. Seeing Boa Hancock was finally out of danger, and the rest of the female warriors around couldn't help but immediately surrounded him. Hurry up and help Lord Snakeji to rest, and quickly let someone prepare food. There is only one place near Nine-Snake Island where he can improve his strength. The mother-in-law exudes supreme majesty, and her tone is submissive. Yes. How mother-in-law's status on Nine-Snake Island is second only to the Empress, and these female warriors will obey her words. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 167 Landing on Four Seasons Island. I accidentally provoke a big evil star, but this is far from his full strength. Is it because of the serious injury? Seeing Shajur-Ching, who had completely disappeared from his sight, my mother-in-law thought so in her heart. With the strength he can beat Jack, can he get training in that place? Why is my mother-in-law a little suspicious? However, since she can't figure it out, my mother-in-law doesn't plan to continue thinking about it. Anyway, it doesn't help much. Let's turn our attention to Shajur-Ching. Ho! Ho! He didn't look as high as he had when he captured Boa Hancock alive. He was sweating profusely now, his face was as yellow as wax paper, and there was blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. Just after recovering from such a fierce battle, the body still can't hold it. The only remaining chakra has been completely consumed. Shajurching gave a wry smile in her heart, so quickly agreeing to her mother-in-law's conditions was also because she was about to be unable to support it. Now Kaido should be waiting for me to show up. However, when I appear on the sea now, I am just like a bird in your cage, and I will be captured by you soon. This is not a wise choice. It just so happens that Anna and the others are hiding now. Since that's the case, let's hide for a while and develop our strength by the way. When we reappear, we will strive to have the strength to calmly face all forces except the 4 emperors. Shajurching made plans for the future in her heart. The system was repaired and upgraded, and the kaleidoscope shaker was temporarily closed, making him unable to use Susanoo and Agena. Therefore, his current real strength is only slightly stronger than the current empress, and it is completely insufficient to face such a dangerous sea. Not to mention that he also offended a behemoth like the 4th Emperor Kaido. Once it appears like this, without the help of Whitebeard's power, he has no choice but to die. Even Doflamingo, who was defeated twice by him, was enough for him to drink 2 pots. However, those who touch my things, prepare me psychologically, spit out everything that eats me, and take my money back to me. My Shajurching's things are not so easy to take. If you take my things casually, you will have to pay a price. The family business that he has accumulated so hard has been divided up like this. Is it like he made it? After a short rest, Shajurching continued going. The direction of his going is nowhere else. It is the 4 Seasons Island where Luffy strengthened his strength and stayed for 2 years in the original. There are many powerful and fierce creatures living on this island. According to Shajurching's estimation, there are about 70% of the creatures that he can't deal with now. It takes 2 years for the Straw Hat Luffy in the original book, so I don't know how long it will take me. 2 years or 3 years. Cha Muyang is not very sure. 4 Seasons Island, it will be here soon, and behind Shajurching is a group of extremely fierce sea kings. This is a windless sea king lurking near the sea area of Siji Island. It is very fierce, and it is not inferior to the sea king in the New World. It's finally here. Shajurching landed on the land and let out a long sigh of relief. Roar. At this time, there was a sudden darkness behind Shajurching, and a sea king with a pig's head and a snake body suddenly rushed out from under the ocean, and attacked Shajurching with its big mouth open. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 168 Sudden Attack. It's really persevering enough to come back. In the face of this roaring sea king, a smile suddenly appeared on the corner of Shajurching's mouth. I just happen to be hungry. Since you want to bring it to your door, I'm welcome. Shajurching drew his sword, gathered all the chakras into the strongest blow, and the sword intent exploded. PFF'd. A cold light flashed, and then, the head of this sea king directly cracked a bloodline. Then, I heard it suddenly screamed, and then the whole head fell directly. Bang! His huge body slammed into the ocean, splashing a terrifying wave. Today, just barely fill your stomach with your too much. Shajurching jumped into the sea, grabbed it hard, and threw the sea king on the island. Soon, the smoke curled up. Several large pieces of huge meat were roasted by the fire, exuding an attractive taste. And dripping with ZZZ oil droplets, it seems to make people move their index fingers. Enjoy the food without too much description. But just when Shajurching was full and was about to continue his going exploration, behind him, there was suddenly a heavy pressure, and a huge soul stepped down towards him. Bang! Shajurching couldn't help being startled and hurried away. But before he could draw his sword, another terrifying phantom took time out and swept him away. PFF'd. Shajurching felt as if Wanjun's enormous force was rushing towards him, making him completely unable to fight. Even armament hockey couldn't weaken the impact much. He didn't dare to neglect, and he quickly used a substitute technique to alleviate this terrifying force. Who is it? Shajurching appeared again and looked at the place where he was standing just now, wanting to see who attacked him. But what I saw was a red-spotted mammoth with a body shape of more than 15 meters, and its ears were as big as lotus leaves that covered the sky, which was terrifying. It looked fiercely at Shajirching, who appeared again, and roared again and rushed to trample on Shajirching. It's this guy. When Shajirching saw this mammoth, she couldn't help being a little stunned. This mammoth is no other beast. It is the first time that Luffy and Rayleigh of Hades landed on the Four Seasons Island in the original book. They were injured by Rayleigh of Hades with a high-level armament haki, and then stunned by Conqueror haki. Lay done. Angry Thunder Tiger. Shajirching quickly sealed the seal, and using the newly recovered chakra, he released a huge Thunder Tiger and roared away. Roar. Facing the Thunder Tiger, the red mammoth curled up its proboscis, blasted the air, and opened a trace of the earth, and it was drawn on Thunder Tiger's body. Lehu was shattered without the slightest resistance. Shajirching was a little surprised to see this, and hurriedly dodged. At the next moment, it broke through the air and rushed past, almost being driven by Shajirching. Chidori's spear. Shamuyang aimed at the mammoth, and when he was about to attack, the mammoth he saw suddenly raised its hind legs and flew over, causing him to quickly retreat again. Then, Swishly appeared in front of it, with thunder and lightning in his hand. Chidori. Ah! The mammoth sensed the danger, hurriedly rolled its proboscis, and ejected, trying to block Shajirching. Hey! But Shajirching suddenly seemed to have teleported, dodging the obstruction of its proboscis, and was already in front of the mammoth. It is about to pierce through the eyes of the mammoth and kill it on the spot. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 169 still too weak. Roar. The sudden danger caused the mammoth to scream in horror, and its proboscis rolled over again, blocking Shajirching's face. PFF'd. The Chidori penetrated directly through the mammoth's proboscis, and blood splattered everywhere. Failed to kill it, but instantly angered it. It swayed its long nose again, and directly smashed Shajirching to the ground. The speed was so fast that even Shajirching didn't have time to run the avatar technique. Wow! The boss's mouthful of blood spurted out, and Shajirching didn't dare to stay long, and immediately retreated. Boom! The next moment, the place where he was just now was smashed by the mammoth. This is not over yet. The mammoth dashes forward again and tramples. Seeing this, Shajirching couldn't help but shuddered, and quickly retreated. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. Thunder Blade. Shajirching threw out several sword waves wrapped in terrifying thunder and lightning, and flew towards the mammoth. Boom boom boom. This sword wave erupted violently on the body of the mammoth, with terrifying sharpness and thunder and lightning, making the mammoth scream incessantly. I don't believe it. I can't help you. Shajirching stepped on the moon step and charged forward again, approaching the mammoth again like a cannonball. Just when the mammoth was about to attack Shajirching, Shajirching suddenly shouted, "Mental shock." Om! A domineering aura burst out, and the mammoth's movements stagnated for a while. Chidori's spear. How could Shajirching miss such a good opportunity? His whole body was instantly covered with thunder and lightning, and then he turned into a phantom-like thunder gun and stabbed the mammoth away. Ah! Although the mental shock only stopped the mammoth for a moment, it was too late to fight the thunder gun that had already come to him. PFF'd. The thunder gun pierced through his head directly, poking out a huge blood hole. It's not over yet. Thunder escape. Heavenly tribulation thunder punishment. Shajirching quickly formed the seal and flew away with thunder and lightning all over his body. In an instant, a huge dark cloud suddenly appeared above the mammoth, and a terrifying thunder snake exploded, shining with terrifying light. Boom! Unbiased, thunder and lightning with a thick water tank crashed down. This strength is as high as 100 million volts, and the lightning with the ability to tear everything, shrouded the mammoth without deviation. Boom boom boom. The terrifying thunder and lightning continued to bombard the mammoth, and the powerful aftermath that erupted sent Shajirching flying out. Ho ho ho. In the terrifying attack of thunder and lightning, the howling of mammoths kept coming, but it didn't take long for it to stop. The mammoth's vicious aura has disappeared. The thunder and lightning lasted for nearly 3 minutes before it stopped. That mammoth was dying, and his body was burnt. It's already so difficult to defeat this mammoth. I'm still a little weaker now. I still have a long way to go to reach the level of Luffy 2 years later in the original book. His current strength is probably equivalent to the level of Luffy not opening the gear 2 years later in the original book. It belongs to the kind of existence that can solve the pacifist with a little effort. Let me see what level my strength can reach after I can defeat all the beasts on this island. It should be almost as good as the 4th gear Luffy. The force value is roughly estimated to have reached 360 plus, or even stronger. I don't know what level my strength can reach after the kaleidoscope is restored a year later. Shajir is looking forward to it. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 170 Lovesickness. As expected of the Thunder Hunter Natsu, he is indeed amazing. At this moment, the voice of the mother-in-law suddenly came from behind Shajir. Shajir looked at her and walked away, and she and a few female warriors from 9 Snake Island came over with a lot of food. Why is my mother-in-law carrying a long knife with a purple flame pattern on her back? Very good, I like to do business with people who will be honest. Seeing this, Shajir couldn't help but have a smile on his lips, and then stepped forward to take his saber from Granny Za's hand, and the knife was hot. Long time no see, old man. Shajir pulled out the flowing fire and gently brushed the blade. It was icy cold, and there was a fierce aura going straight to the top of his head. This fire seems to have spirituality, and it hummed and vibrated, and the sharp breath became stronger, as if it was cheering. Give me food once a day, have enough meat and vegetables, and you can leave if you have nothing to do. Shajir glanced at her mother-in-law and the others, and then she was about to turn around and leave, heading deeper into the island. Wait a minute, Thunder Hunter. At this moment, the voice of the mother-in-law suddenly came. When Shajir heard the words, she immediately stopped and turned around, looked at her mother-in-law and asked, I don't know if my mother-in-law has any advice. Hearing this, the mother-in-law was full of embarrassment, and then, a strange look appeared on her face, and she hesitated to speak. Then, she said, well, it's nothing, it's just. Speaking of which, she suddenly stopped again, feeling a little indescribable. It's really nothing, mother-in-law, lying is not a good behavior. Seeing her mother-in-law's appearance, Shajir immediately narrowed her eyes, and the corners of her mouth unconsciously curled into a smile. Why does my mother-in-law look like this? If there is nothing wrong, he will write Shajir name upside down. Alas, how do you ask Lao Shen to speak? This matter is really hard for me to talk about. Seeing Shajir looking at her with those playful eyes, her mother-in-law couldn't help but sighed and said, Oh, I don't know what's going on, making it so difficult for someone like you. Shajir couldn't help but be a little surprised. It seems like a no-brainer for someone like Granny Za, who has gone through half a century of wind and frost and is suddenly open-minded. Alas, evil fate, this matter is another evil fate. The mother-in-law couldn't help but sighed, and then pondered for a while. After sorting out her thoughts, she said, Our Emperor of 9 Snake Island, Snake G. Boa Hancock, may have lovesickness for you. An LT, P and GT. This is a disease that sounds absurd, but has been fatal to all emperors. Even the old man used to alas. In short, this is a terminal illness that needs to be eradicated by the person who needs to visit the sick person in person. Lovesick. Such a familiar name. After listening to her mother-in-law's words, Shajir only felt that the name was so familiar, but suddenly he couldn't remember where he heard it. He couldn't help but start searching for the memory of lovesickness in his mind. Then, as if he suddenly thought of something, he couldn't help but be in disbelief, and said to himself, Wait, No, it's my turn for this kind of thing. If he remembered correctly, this happened in the original book too. It's just that the object of the female emperor's lovesickness in the original book is the Straw Hat Luffy. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 171. A wife fell from the sky. The Straw Hat Luffy did not respond to the charm of the Empress, and blocked the hooves of the 9 sky dragons on her 2 younger sisters in time, preventing their humiliating history from being exposed. And unleashed Conqueror Haki against Hancock, thereby conquering her. Then where did I let him conquer her? Would a proud woman like her fall in love with me? Suddenly, he seemed to think of something, and said with some uncertainty, could it be because of the battle not long ago? The battle he was talking about was the battle between him and the Empress in the Colosseum. He felt very strange at the time, why such a powerful female emperor received a mental shock from him, but was instantly paralyzed to the ground. He was still very different at the time, and now listening to what his mother-in-law said, he suddenly made a bold guess. Is it possible that she developed lovesickness at that time? If you don't mind, it's a lie. That's the #1 beauty in the world, and being posted by her should be the ultimate goal and dream of every man who fantasizes about coming to the world of One Piece, King of Pirates. Thunder Hunter, look, why didn't you come back with me? Hancock, her life, can't afford to delay. Why did my mother-in-law look at Shajirching a little nervously and asked. If Shajirching's strength was not so strong, or if his fierce reputation was not so strong, she might have just wrapped Shajirching back. But there is no way. Who made her so powerful? How long will it take? Although his heart is full, Shajirching is not unable to walk, and he is not the Diosi who just arrived in this world. After so many battles, he has also been to many places, especially when he was on the Whitebeard ship. He has seen many beautiful women in the New World. It's not enough to be obsessed with an empress. Moreover, he now has urgent things he needs to do, and solving the current strength problem first is the most important thing he should do now. He doesn't mind a trip if the time needed is short. After all, if you can recover the Empress like this, you can really make a lot of money. Conquer the Empress, the proudest and most beautiful woman in the world. What a face. It won't be long, it will only take a month. Seeing Shajirching, her mother-in-law relaxed again, and said with joy. A month. Too long. I refuse. As soon as he heard that it would take a month, Shajirching had no idea at all. He thought it would be solved in a day or two, but it took so long. Don't. When she heard Shajirching's rejection, her mother-in-law became anxious. She said, Hancock will endanger her life if she doesn't get rid of her symptoms quickly. If she dies, our 9 Snake Island will be in danger. Seeing that Shajirching didn't move at all after listening to it, her mother-in-law couldn't help but grit her teeth, and then she knelt down directly. She begged, please, save her. The lives of all of us on 9 Snake Island depend on her alone, and she must not have any problems. If something goes wrong with her, all of us on 9 Snake Island will become slaves of the world government, enslaved by them, and fall back into a desperate situation. Besides, if you cure Hancock, she'll be yours. If you can turn the world's #1 beauty into your own woman, I am afraid that even the 4 emperors of the New World will envy you. Why is my mother-in-law looking at Shajirching, hoping that her words will impress Shajirching? Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 172. Bring her. Does it have to be a month? Do I also need to see Hancock? After hearing this, if Shajirching wanted to say that he was not moved, it would be a lie, but the most important thing for him now is to strengthen his strength. If he had to visit Hancock and she had to start in a month, then he could only refuse. No, I can send her here. She will get better as soon as she sees you. She will be completely healed after you develop your relationship. Wouldn't it be better to let her grow stronger with you in the future? When my mother-in-law heard that Shajirching's words were loose, she said quickly. Oh, is this still possible? Hearing this, Shajurching's mouth suddenly curled into a smile. Is this the rhythm of a free daughter-in-law falling from the sky? In his head, a sentence sounded inexplicably. Lao Shu, do you want a wife or not? Send her here, you can leave now. You should know how powerful the creatures on this island are. If you don't leave, I can't handle your well-being. Shajurching's words, no matter how you hear it, it feels like kidnapping the flower girl. What do you think of Lord Snake Princess? Marigo looked at Shajurching and said angrily. Don't make trouble, Marigo, just do as he says. Hearing this, there is no surprise on the mother-in-law's face. This is the domineering attitude of Shajurching as a strong man. Damn. Marigo left with her mother-in-law, and Shajurching immediately entered the forest. Endless battles, endless beasts, are all waiting for him. That mammoth was just a mid-level among them. Still below average. In it, there are ape kings who are good at strength, and there are various snakes who are good at speed. There are also terrifying beasts such as a lion that has increased its strength and speed to the extreme and dominates, and a crocodile that has achieved the ultimate defense. They are all terrifying beasts with a body size of 40 meters, and their strength is quite powerful. Best of all, here, there are 4 seasons in one day. It was still summer here, and the temperature has begun to cool down. When it enters the dark night, it will be a long cold, and the most terrifying winter will be ushered in. The weather is very bad. Shajurching has to adapt to this place, and also has to deal with the attacks of various beasts. It is conceivable how difficult the situation is. Suck yo. No, not long after Shajurching entered, he was kicked out by a tall horse with flying black mane. Wow. This kick actually cracked Shajurching's lightning armor. It directly hurt Shajurching. How terrifying. Speed is power, and Shajurching can already imagine how terrifying the strength of Admiral Kizaru is. Hi. The steed opened its big mouth, and it was full of sharp teeth. When he opened his mouth, he caught up with Shajurching and was about to swallow him. Bang. It was at this time that Shajurching felt a sudden blackness on his head, and he couldn't help but look over. I saw a large eagle with magnificent iron wings. It stretched out its iron claws and grabbed the horse directly. The latter had no resistance at all. The wind and waves brought by the eagle directly blew Shajurching out. PFF'd. Shajurching felt like he was hit by a violent air cannon. The wind and waves were extremely heavy, and it took him to smash several big trees that were hugged by 5 people. In the end, it hit a black iron wall and stopped. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 173 Hard to move. But where is this black iron wall? What a real iron wall. I saw a triangular head exuding a fishy smell, and slowly probed towards Shajurching. Where is this iron wall? This is obviously a huge black armor Orochi. Look at the purple snake letter he stretched out, and the signs that the mucus that fell to the ground made the earth sizzle. Obviously, this is still a venomous snake. Shajurching's pupils shrank into needles instantly, and the whole person couldn't help shivering. This Orochi, the breath is too powerful. Let him have the feeling of facing Jack directly. The terrifying pressure made his body even a little immobile. You can only look at this black armor Orochi, open his stinky mouth, and swallow him in. Who? At this moment, a lion roar suddenly came from next to Orochi. A long, lazy, but exuding the strongest breath ever, an orange-yellow lion shaped like a hill, rushed over like a train. It directly bit Orochi and flew the black armor Orochi out. As soon as this lion appeared, Shajurching felt like he was about to suffocate for a moment. This guy is even stronger than Jack. It's really right, Shiji Island. It's no wonder that it can be favored by Rayleigh, the king of the underworld. It really makes sense. No wonder the island is deserted, so it is. Watch the maned lion and the black armor Orochi scuffle together. Shajurching knew that there would be no better chance to escape than now. Whether it was the maned lion, it shattered more than 50 meters of the earth with one paw. Orochi, the black armor, smashed the entire island with a tail whip, and exploded a small abyss, which is not something that Shajirching can fight now. If you don't leave now, I'm afraid you won't have time to leave. But can Shajirching leave? Of course not. Just when he had just walked out of a distance of 500 meters, slightly away from the fighting range of the two beasts, and thought he was out of danger. A crimson soldier king ant with a height of only 15 meters, but its entire body like cast iron, blocked his way. Looking at the soldier king ants in front of him, Shajirching couldn't help shivering. The breath of this soldier king ant is only slightly weaker than that of the black armor Orochi. Shajirching couldn't help but take 2 steps back. However, there was another scorching breath from behind, a bear with a huge sarcoid on its chest, one hand on the ground, eyes full of greed looking at him. In fact, not only was he surrounded by beasts before and after, but in fact, he was surrounded by beasts of all kinds. These beasts, spiders, centipedes, toads, crocodiles, and even a rabbit with exploding muscles. Have I entered the core area of this forest? Of all the beasts I have encountered, none of them I can barely fight. Shajirching couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart. All the beasts here have the strength to kill him in seconds. In front of these beasts, how weak he is. 36 strategies. Walking is the best strategy. Seeing that these beasts are dreading each other's existence, their eyes change rapidly. Shajirching knew that if he did not escape at this time, when they started to fight, that would be his doom. Lightning Strike Armor, run! Shajirching instantly entered the Lightning Strike Armor mode, and then, he found the hole and rushed over. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 174 So weak. G. Seeing that Shajirching was about to run, and when he was still coming towards him, the soldier king ant made a sharp cry, and his extremely sharp jaws attacked away. Shave. Shajirching drank, and once again turned into a phantom and disappeared in place. If he remembered correctly, on this beast-infested island, there is a forest full of strange trees, which is absolutely safe. All the beasts don't like the smell emanating from the tree, so they will never approach. I hope there is nothing wrong, otherwise, I am afraid that I will explain it here today. Shajirching didn't dare to relax a little bit, and didn't dare to look back, but he was full of firepower, looking for the forest. On the way to escape, he also encountered many beasts. Shajirching took the 3-go jade riding wheel to the extreme, and constantly probed and analyzed to find the most beneficial route for him. It is also a loss that he can still use the 3-goose jade riding wheel otherwise, he may be unable to move. On this island, the density of beasts is too small. As small as every 100 meters, there is a powerful beast blocking the way. This is still his optimal route, and so on. It is conceivable that if he just took the road without optimization, it is estimated that he has stopped now. Ha! 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 It took about 2 hours, about 30 kilometers, and after crossing most of the island, he finally reached his destination. That forest of strange trees. He couldn't help letting out a long sigh of relief, and then, his face turned pale, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Look at him again. There are scars all over the body, and in some places, even bones are exposed. What an unforgettable journey of despair. In the past 2 hours, he can say that he has experienced all the despair of the past 12 years. There has never been a day when he will feel so weak. With a force value of 230 plus, on this island, he is only a mid-level combat force. It's still below average, and if you encounter a beast at random, there is a 70% chance that you won't be able to beat it. It's so sad, but I like it. Shajirching took a short rest before entering the forest. This strange tree forest is very quiet, but it is also very depressing. There is a coercion that can be seen everywhere, and Shajirching is constantly shocked. It's like there has been a terrifying beast in recent years. This coercion, although weak, surpassed all the previous beasts. Even that maned lion can't compare. Hey, you won't tell me, there is a terrifying beast here too. Shazherching suddenly became vigilant and guessed in his heart. He's slowly going. Finally, he came to the center of the forest. Then, in that instant, his cold hairs exploded straight up. His whole body was instantly in a state of battle, the lightning strike armor covered his entire body, and armament hockey wrapped the fire. In front of him, there was a big deer like a mountain sleeping. This deer, those horns are as sharp as a sword. Those limbs are as majestic and powerful as mountains. That fur, obviously looks quite soft, but it gives a feeling of incomparable toughness. Most importantly, in the face of this breath, Shazherching was directly desperate. In the face of this deer, he couldn't raise the slightest resistance at all. Start a pair of riding wheels, pirates, start with a pair of riding wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 175 Terrible Deer King. Shazherching was immediately so frightened that he was covered in sweat. He didn't even dare to breathe, for fear of waking the deer. He slowly stepped back. He knew that if he provoked this deer, he would die miserably. But it took him half an hour for a distance of 100 meters. It is hard to imagine how careful Shazherching was. However, Shazherching stepped back and suddenly found that this deer didn't seem to be breathing at all. Taking a closer look, it seems that there is no breath of life at all. Does it mean already dead? Shazherching couldn't help guessing in his heart. He swallowed, and then he mustered the courage to go forward. 3 minutes later. It's really dead. When he got closer, he found out. This deer, with its back to him, the side he couldn't see was completely rotten and empty. According to Shazherching's estimation, it has been dead for at least 2 or 3 years. Having been dead for so long, yet still under such terrifying coercion, this deer would not have been the king of this Four Seasons island during his lifetime. Shazherching had such a guess in his heart. It seems that no beasts dare to approach this forest, not only because of the smell of this strange tree. Perhaps, but also because of this deer. Shazherching thought so in his heart. No matter what, in short, I have a place to live. In the next time, please give me more advice. Shazherching moved towards the deer and lightly clenched his fist. In the next few days, Shazherching finally understood the truth of, the king is dead, but his prestige. He also has a good understanding of what is called the feeling of fox fake tiger power. It was the maned lion. It dared to chase Shazherching into the strange tree forest. However, when he was still 500 meters away from the deer, as strong as him, he let out an uneasy hissing sound, and then left. And Shazherching, although he doesn't know this deer, it doesn't affect him to name this deer, Deer King. In his opinion, this deer is the well-deserved king of the Four Seasons Island. However, what makes Shazherching very curious is, who is the Deer King so powerful, who killed him? Who is it? The one who can make the Deer King break half of his ribs and die. Shazherching looked at the broken half of the rib of the Deer King, and couldn't help falling into contemplation. According to his guess, to kill this Deer King, the strength is at least the level of Cracker in the original book. The force value is at least around 400. He thought about it, and the people who might come to this island, Hades Rayleigh, red-haired Shanks, etc., didn't think of any of them, who would kill this Deer King. However, what Shazherching may not know is that, in fact, many people may land on this island. Such as Queen, such as Marco, or a fanatical fighter with the ability to turbulent seas who was caught 6 years ago. Forget it, I don't think about it so much now, I'll continue to become stronger. Shazherching's biggest task now is to become stronger, infinitely stronger. In the process of becoming stronger, wait for the system to be repaired and upgraded until the kaleidoscope shaker can continue to be used. At that time, he only had a little bit of confidence to face the 4 emperors. No way, the power of the 4 emperors is beyond ordinary people's imagination. After all, Luffy, who had a tie with Katakuri in the original book, was nothing but a slap in the face of Kaido. Start a pair of writing wheels. Pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 176 This is what love feels like. It was Marco, who once told Shajirching that even if he was admiral, he could be tough for a long time, regardless of his strength. But against Whitebeard, he may soon lose. Time is still passing slowly. The sick Boa Hancock finally came to the Four Seasons Island. What Shajirching didn't expect was that Boa Hancock's car, the flower snake named Salome, didn't seem to be very dangerous. After landing on the Four Seasons Island, it has a powerful deterrent. This is not to say how strong Salome is, but its poison, even the maned lions are shunned, and the black armor Orochi is extremely jealous. Salome just came to the place where Shajirching was with Boa Hancock. Mr. Natsu, concubine to see you good hi happy. Boa Hancock, who was still paralyzed on Salome last moment, looks like a gossamer, but the moment he saw Shajirching, he suddenly returned to normal. However, she was like a little girl, with a shy expression on her face, which made Shajirching feel lost for a moment. This Hancock looks so beautiful. Hee, I'm happy too, Hancock. Shajirching Isho came to Hancock, grabbed her little hand and played with it. At this moment, Hancock fell into infinite shyness again, and he almost collapsed into Shajirching's arms in an instant, and his peerless face turned into a red apple. It turns out that the feeling of being in love is like this. It's really wonderful, it's intoxicating. For a moment, holding Hancock's soft weed, Shajirching thought about it. Just stop like this, lie drunk on the knees of the beauty, and never ask about the world. With Nephrite in his arms, maybe every man has only one thing in his mind. That is to quickly enjoy the joy of fish and water. But Shajirching immediately took a long breath and abandoned the idea. He still does not have the strength and capital to be drunk on the knees of a beautiful woman, so let's continue to work hard. Hancock, will you stay with me next time? Shajirching looked at Hancock, resisted the urge to kiss her face fiercely, and said. Hancock, who has always been so strong, at this moment, his voice is like a mosquito, inaudible. In her mind, because of Shajirching's words, a big scene of life has been made up in her mind. Maybe even the names of her and Shajirching's children have already been thought of. Then let's get started, Hancock, the next day will be very difficult, you have to be prepared. Shajirching looked at Hancock and said very seriously. Yeah, I will, with you by my side, I will not have a hard life. Hancock nodded and said very naively. Seeing this scene, Shajirching couldn't help but sighed in his heart and said, lovesickness is really a terrible disease. To make a dignified empress directly identify me as an ordinary person, what a magical world. Shajirching directly picked up Hancock by the waist. In his past life and this life, he had never even held a girl's hand. Now, he also wants to taste the taste of pork. 21 lives in vain. Now, it can be considered to be out of the dilemma of being single. Don't get me wrong, Shajirching just wanted to feel the feeling of falling in love, he didn't think about having fun with Hancock now. That's too fast, even if Hancock is mentally prepared, Shajirching is not yet mentally prepared. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 177 I'm very good. The next day, Shajirching asked her mother-in-law to bring a phone bug. He almost forgot that he was still alive, so he should report to Whitebeard in time, let him know his situation, and don't let him worry. New World, Wardle Seas, on the Moby Dick. Bella Barra, quote. Whitebeard suddenly rang. Whitebeard can't help frowning. It seems that there are only a few other 4 emperors who can call him at this time. Whitebeard is very annoying, he doesn't want to pick it up, Shajirching's whereabouts are unknown, he is very annoying. Dad, take it, in case it's something important. Shajurching's news can be inquired later. If we miss any important news, it will be very unfavorable to us. Seeing this, Marco couldn't help but persuade. Okay. Listening to Marco's words, Whitebeard and reluctantly connected to the past. However, before Whitebeard could speak impatiently, there was a voice that made him very excited. Dad, I'm Shajurching, I'm still alive, I've made you worry. Hearing the voice from the phone bug, Whitebeard's breathing suddenly became a lot faster. Then, Shajurching's voice continued. Brothers, let you and Dad worry. I'm fine now, you don't have to worry about me, you don't have to look for me, in about a year, you'll be able to see the news of my reappearance on the sea. Where the hell are you now? Are you really okay? Boy, don't lie to me, if you were kidnapped, tell me quickly. Dare to touch my Whitebeard family, I'll make him regret it. But obviously, Whitebeard would not completely believe Shajurching's words. After all, a person who had been gone for nearly 2 or 3 months suddenly appeared, and he also said that he was fine now, and a few people would believe it. Not to mention an old man like Whitebeard. He's not that easy to deceive. In Whitebeard's mind, the reason why he disappeared for so long must be because he was held hostage, so there has been no news. Dad, really, I'm fine now, if you don't believe me, you can let someone come over and see. I'm on the Four Seasons Isle of Amazon Lily right now. On the Four Seasons Island, after hearing Whitebeard's words, Shajurching, who is holding the enhanced version of the phone bug specially made by Nine Snake Island, couldn't help laughing bitterly. Okay, the old man will let Marco come over to see what's going on. I hope, as you said, you are fine now. Whitebeard's heavy voice, even through the phone bug, is still shocking. Brother Marco, I'm going to trouble you, I really trouble you, and I've spent so much time on me. Shajurching said a little embarrassedly. Ha ha ha, no, just right, I also want to see how your kid is doing now. I want to see, it's been almost 3 months since you disappeared, and there is no news at all, what the hell are you doing? Of course, if you let me know that you lied to Dad, I won't spare you easily. Marco to speak seriously once, but this is enough to show how bad Shajurching's behavior is. Okay, then I'll wait for big brother Marco to come, so that Dad can feel at ease. Shajurching then chatted with Whitebeard for a while before hanging up. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 178 She is my woman too. After hanging up the phone with Whitebeard, Shajurching called Anna again. However, the moment Anna's voice came, Boa Hancock's eyes instantly became sharp. Natsu-sama, is that you? The moment she heard Shajurching's voice, Anna's unbelievable voice came over. It's me, how are you guys? Shajurching Vivi Isho, the electric bug also conveyed this expression of Shajurching to the past. Suddenly, the phone bug in front of Shajurching burst into tears. Ooh, Lord Naz, are you alright, are you alright? Anna's sobbing voice came over. Don't worry, I'm fine now, how about you guys, are you all trying to increase your strength? Shajurching asked. Yes, we are all trying to strengthen ourselves now. Next time, we will never let Shajurching break up alone. As soon as this question was mentioned, Anna suddenly stopped sobbing and said in a very firm voice. That's good, then you can continue to strengthen your strength with peace of mind, don't worry about me, don't look for me. See you at Sky Island in a year. After listening to Anna's answer, Shajurching breathed a sigh of relief and informed them of their plan. Okay, I see, I'll pass it on to everyone. However, Tesoro. When Anna said the words, Tesoro, she couldn't help gnashing her teeth instantly. Forget it, let's do it for now. Let him go. When Shajurching heard this, he sighed and told Anna and the others not to trouble Tesoro. Tesoro, I hope you can give me a reasonable explanation then. After chatting with Anna again, Shajurching hung up. The next step is to wait for the arrival of Big Brother Marco. And, the sea will reappear after a year. After Xia hung up the phone, she said in her heart. Then, he saw Hancock with a displeased face. With Xia intelligence, of course he understands why. That's my subordinate, you won't be jealous with your expression. Xia scratched lightly on Hancock's white nose and asked with a smile. Yes, the concubine is jealous. What is she? She also wants to compete with the concubine for a man. Hancock answered so directly, causing Xia to shake his head with a wry smile. You, alas. Xia suddenly felt that the backyard would catch fire, and inexplicably began to wonder what to do. Hey, you're a concubine, no one wants to snatch it. No one can snatch a man from a concubine. Hancock declared his sovereignty very strongly. Make peace with her, okay. She's one of the most important people in my life, and she means a lot to me. Xia grabbed Hancock's catkin and said softly. But she in case snatch with my concubine. Before Hancock could finish speaking, Xia blocked her delicate lips. Anna will definitely be my woman, Hancock, you and she are the most important people to me, both of you are inseparable to me. If you can't get along peacefully, how will I manage my subordinates in the future? Xia looked at Hancock very seriously, with her forehead pressed against hers, and said. Instead of being vague all the time, and then both sides are unflattering, it is better to make it clear now. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 179 Marco is here. Okay, the concubine knows. Seeing Xia resolute face, Hancock responded with a grieved expression. Don't worry, there won't be more, just two. Seeing Hancock like this, he knew that it would take a long time for Hancock to accept Anna like this. Of course, with Hancock and Anna, he doesn't think much about other women either. Two are enough. Any more and it will be a headache. He doesn't have the energy of ancient emperors, a bunch of women. Then say it like this, there can only be one of her, otherwise, I will ignore you. Hancock suddenly raised his head, like a child, and said angrily. Okay, I promise you, there will be no third one. Xia nodded without thinking, with a firm expression. Seeing this, Hancock laughed suddenly, and then hugged Xia tightly. 3 days later, Marco arrived. His arrival really startled the mother-in-law. Who is Marco? The existence of the deputy captain of the Whitebeard pirates. He came to the Four Seasons Island. No matter how you look at it, it looks like he is here to trouble Xia. After all, Natsu, the Hunter of Thunder, killed Whitebeard's son, and the whole world knew about Xia with blood pupils. In the past, Foil Vista didn't succeed in chasing and killing. Is it possible that this time, it was replaced by Marco? My mother-in-law was very flustered, but when he arrived at Four Seasons Island, Marco was gone, and Xia showed no signs of injury. Why is the mother-in-law suddenly stunned? What is the situation? What's the matter, mother-in-law? Is there something wrong? As his relationship with Boa Hancock gets better and better, his relationship with all the 9 Snake Island members is not as stiff as it was at the beginning. I just saw the figure of Marco, the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates. He didn't do anything to you. Why did my mother-in-law look at Xia worriedly and asked. Marco's background is too big, she can't help but worry. It's all right, I have successfully resolved the grievance with the Whitebeard pirates and made a deal, they won't bother me again in the future. Xia isho, not to mention, this mother-in-law's concern makes him feel quite warm. Is that so? Well, since you said it's fine, then I don't need to ask, and I retire. Why did my mother-in-law retire when she said she wanted to, without talking nonsense to Xia at all? He really is an old man who is not at all sloppy. Seeing this, Xia couldn't help but feel helpless to Isho, and then he and Hancock continued to devote themselves to the battle. In the New World, After getting Marco's affirmative answer and confirming that Shajirching was indeed all right, Whitebeard couldn't help showing a long-lost smile. And then, forget about Shajirching. Since he has to choose, follow his own demise, Whitebeard respects his choice, and it just so happens that Whitebeard also sees what kind of achievement he can achieve. New world, future-going city. Isn't Shajirching dead? It's interesting, I knew this guy didn't die so easily. Tezzolo said with a glass of red wine and looking at the distant sky. Let me see what it will be like when you appear again. I don't know, how will you face the revenge of Droughtjack? I heard that he has been looking for your traces now, and is trying to become stronger. The purpose is to seek revenge for you, in the name of the three disasters. Tezzolo is looking forward to seeing whether Shajirching can withstand the revenge of the four emperors after he comes out again. If he doesn't have this strength, then he is not worthy of Tezzolo's investment. Start a pair of writing wheels, pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed. Chapter 180 Can't Wait. Sky Island. After receiving the news that Shajirching was safe, Anna immediately cancelled the search for Shajirching and began to strengthen the strength according to Shajirching's arrangement. Quietly waiting for the day when they will come back again. Wait, those guys who used to yell in front of me, right away, I'll make you pay the price. A cold light flashed in Anna's eyes. Then, she restrained her breath and entered the practice. Time, just like this, in the turbulent sea, more than a year has passed. On this day, a couple came out of the strange tree forest. Unconsciously, it's been a year. It's really fast. Among them, the man sighed like this and said, this year has been really fast. My concubine hasn't enjoyed my time with you. The woman let out a coquettish expression, her face full of reluctance. Hancock, there will be a long time in the future, don't worry. There is time to be with you. The man opened his mouth and comforted the woman. This couple is of course Shajirching and Hancock. Besides them, no one else can be on this island. See Circle Calendar 1518, January 5th, a good day. Shajirching looked at the sky and whispered like this. It is said to be a year, but in fact, the real time should be 1 year, 4 months and 18 days. It was a painful and unforgettable experience. However, it just so happened that it took a year to consolidate everything before. Now I have reached the highest peak that I can reach so far. This year, Shajirching was 14 years old, but he looked the same as 18 or 19 years old, very mature. Standing with Hancock, there is no sense of disobedience. Sky Island. Miss Anna, is it finally coming out again? Hurry up, I can't wait. A certain young man with terrifying thunder and lightning all over his body said impatiently. What's the hurry? Wait for Lord Shajirching to come back. Lord Shajirching will be here soon. In front of this young man surrounded by thunder and lightning, there was also a mature royal sister. She looked into the distance with a stern expression, and her eyes were also full of impatient waiting. Lord Shajirching, you are finally here. This Yuji said this, her pink fist clenched tightly, and a faint light flashed in her eyes. Behind this royal sister, a swordsman with a green algae head, a strong man dressed like a monk, and a man dressed as a scientist. Behind them stood a series of ancient typical steel buildings, constantly exuding the breath of billowing energy. Who else can be on Sky Island except Anna and the others? The new journey is finally time to set off again. I really want to go to Blue Sea to try my own level right now. The mighty swordsman of the Blue Sea, wait for me, I'll be here soon. It was a certain green algae head who said this, and his face was full of anticipation. No, it should be said to be excited. During the year, he's crazy about Anna, Enel, and even Jill's, Daz Bones. He doesn't know how strong he is now, so he wants to know. Lord Shajirching will be here in a few hours, so get ready. The first battle we appeared was a bloody storm. What we have lost, we should now take back. Anna said to everyone behind her without looking back. Start a pair of writing wheels. Pirates, start with a pair of writing wheels. 38kanshu.com has the fastest update speed.